Hola, clase. So we are right now in our second last module, which is module 14. El banco está cerca del aeropuerto. And we are going to be studying prepositions of place, places around town, the verb estar, and O to UE verbs, which we started a little bit in our Zoom class this Tuesday. So if you look here for Monday, you should complete Gramaticales dos, and that's in MindTap, and also a little bit of Lexicas dos. And that's going to be the prepositions. I just want to give you a heads up that for Thursday next week, so we'll see each other in Zoom on Tuesday before this, you do have this places around town activity. So I would look at this because this is the framework for your final presentation. You're basically going to open the document here. And what it's talking about is you are going to think of your town or city. So if you're from another town, you can use that, but one that you know well. And you're going to make a list of 4 places that would be attractive to residents. You want to indicate where the places are and what they're like. And after that, you want to write some basic questions and answers that you could ask a student, or a student could ask you about the places. So for example, I put 4 places here that are from Buffalo. So first place I put was El Parque de Delaware. And so the question that I asked, and again, this is sort of, you just want to make sure that you have some basic questions written about your place that a student would ask you just to start off the presentation. So I said, ¿Tiene un parque grande tu ciudad? And then I answered the question, sí, el parque se llama el Parque de Delaware. And then I did a second question. You really only need to, ¿Dónde está el parque? Where is the park? And I said, está cerca del zoológico. And you may want to just wait to do this, but again, I just wanted to see, maybe you can think of the 4 places you want to work with, and then you can get that done for next week, but at least you start the work for it, the brainstorming. And then for the second one, I have El Museo de Albright Knox. And the question I put is, ¿Hay museos en tu ciudad? And I said, sí, Buffalo tiene un museo moderno. And then, ¿dónde está el museo? Was my second question. Está enfrente de la Universidad de Buffalo, en la calle de Elmwood. So you want to include some of the prepositions of place, saying where those things are, also in your questions if possible. Número 3, I had restaurantes y cafés, and I asked the question, ¿Hay cafés y restaurantes buenos en tu ciudad? And I said, sí, hay muchos cafés y restaurantes deliciosos. Mi favorito es Spot Coffee. And then I said, ¿Dónde está? Where is it? And estar is the other way to say to be for location. So that's when we're saying está, ¿dónde está? And hay muchos. My answer was, pero uno en el pueblo de Hamburg, a la izquierda del restaurante El Grange. So I tried to use my a la izquierda, which is to the left of. We're going to introduce those prepositions of place today. And then the last one I put was El Estadio de los Bills. Please don't copy mine unless you really wanted to do one of these examples. You just have to change the questions. But if you love the Bills and that's the one you want to do, that would be okay. But don't use my questions. Then I put El fútbol americano y otros deportes son populares en tu ciudad. And then my question answer was, sí, son súper populares el fútbol americano y el hockey. And then the second question I had is, ¿hay un estadio donde juegan los equipos? And I said, sí, hay un estadio grande y muy popular in Orchard Park. Se llama el Estadio de Highmark, which I didn't know they changed it, but el Estadio de Highmark, y está al lado del campo del Westher. And so those are my things. So for the second part, you're going to basically build some slides. You can take a look at this, and we'll talk more about this in class. But you're just going to put some pictures of your place and use the information here. You can recycle some of those questions, those answers you did with the questions, and then maybe just do a little bit more. You want 8 slides and 2 slides per attraction. So say that you do park, you want to do 2 slides for the park. The second thing you want to do, the second attraction, you would do 2 more slides. So it's 2 slides per attraction. And we will be presenting these in class on that last Tuesday, which should be the 16th. So, no, actually, it's not the 16th. It is the 14th. That's our last Zoom class, which would be Tuesday the 14th. So you will present these in class. So you're going to turn them in next week. And then you can get some feedback from me. If you want to send them to me by email first and before you submit them in Blackboard, you can do that just like a composition. And then I'll give you some feedback before you turn it in Blackboard, and then you'll have a good foundation for starting your presentation or getting your presentation ready for that last day of class. So this is just a heads up on this. You don't have to get this started yet, but I just wanted to give you for those students that like to work ahead. So for today, we're going to concentrate a lot on these preposiciones de lugar, but also remember that with our O to UE verbs, I just want to remind you, we did this in class on Tuesday. So let's just take let's do dormir. And just like poder, when I said like puedes ir al cine conmigo, can you go to the movies with me? That poder is one of our O to UE verbs too, and that's going to switch outside of the boot, we called it. So we called it a boot. So instead of doing a six-pack, we did a boot. And what that means is that we're going to take our dormir and conjugate it just like a regular IR verb, taking off our IR. But instead of just doing it as dormo, we have an O that goes to a UE in the middle. It's called a stem change or a boot verb. So instead of saying dormo, I'm going to say, and if you could write this in your notes, it would be duermo to say I sleep. So that's a UE, duermo, I sleep. To say you sleep, it's going to be I sleep. It's going to be not dormes, but duermes. In order to preserve the sound, we have that O to UE. So that's you sleep. And then to say he sleeps or she sleeps, we're going to have él or ella duerme. So this is just a review of what we did in class. And what we said is outside of the boot, that does not happen. So that means we don't have the O to UE. We're just going to conjugate it like a regular IR verb. So here we would have dormimos, we sleep. So some verbs are categorized as stem changing verbs in the present tense, like these. Some are regular, like the ones we've seen so far, but these are considered to be a little bit irregular. And then we have dormís for vosotros. Y'all, if you're from Spain, you use vosotros, sleep. And then the last one we have, we're going back into the boot now. So that's going to be ellos and ellas and ustedes, you guys. If you're not from Spain, that's how I say you all or you guys. And that's going to be not dormen, but duermen. So you see that little stem change. So if we wanted to say they sleep for, and for is going to be por, 6 hours, how would we say that? So that should have been ellos or ellas duermen por 6 horas. And we're going to see more of this in Zoom class, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of review. So the next thing I want to talk about are these prepositions of place. There is a video. So I'm going to ask you to watch this video. So there's this video in Blackboard. So take the time to open the video. Listen through the video. So first, though, you may want to do this. There's a little rima. So there's two things as part of this file here. You have a rima, which is a little rhyme, and you also have the video. So I would do the rima first. And what you're going to do is, I'm going to start the webcam so you can see me. So you're going to basically use your gestures. So let's do the gestures now. So if you can do it along with me and just basically follow it. So we're going to say izquierda. So this is to the left. So use your left. Izquierda is left. A la izquierda. A la derecha. So we have izquierda, derecha. You want to get this down as much as you can before I see you in class because we're going to work with it. So izquierda, derecha. So to the left, to the right. Delante. Delante is in front of. So delante, detrás. Detrás is behind. So far we have izquierda, left, derecha, delante, detrás. Detrás is behind. Cerca. Cerca is close. Y lejos. Lejos is far. Y algo más, and something more. Abajo, so down. Abajo. Arriba, up. Debajo. Debajo is under. Encima. Encima is on top of. Y ahora, muchachos, and now, boys and girls, that's the rhyme. Se acaba la rima. Se acaba la rima is now the rhyme has ended. So that is the little rhyme. So again, you want to do izquierda, derecha, delante, detrás, cerca y lejos y algo más. Abajo, arriba, debajo, under, encima. Y ahora, muchachos, se acaba la rima. Okay, so here we have a video of the use of estar and some prepositions of place. So let's watch it and then we'll talk about how to conjugate estar after and then just do a little bit more practice.
Bien, lo veo ahora. Hola Santiago, ¿cómo estás? Estoy muy bien. ¿Y tú? Bien, pero no sé dónde está el correo y tengo que mandar este paquete a mis padres. No está muy lejos. Mira, estamos en la calle San Pedro y el correo está a 2 cuadras, en la calle Santa Rosa, enfrente del restaurante cubano.
Okay, so I'm going to play it one more time.
Bien, lo veo ahora. Hola Santiago, ¿cómo estás? Estoy muy bien. ¿Y tú? Bien, pero no sé dónde está el correo y tengo que mandar este paquete a mis padres. No está muy lejos. Mira, estamos en la calle San Pedro y el correo está a 2 cuadras, en la calle Santa Rosa, enfrente del restaurante cubano.
So what we're looking for here is uses of estar, and also we want to look at any prepositions of place. So you can identify the uses of estar here, como estás. We've done that before in class where we're just asking how someone is. Estoy muy bien. So actually you've seen estar before to say to be. It's more the temporary or with conditions or locations of places. So, pero no sé dónde está el correo y tengo que mandar. So we have seen tengo que mandar to say something you have to do. Tener que plus infinitive. Tengo que mandar este paquete a mis padres. And he says no está muy lejos. So we're again saying the location is not very far. En Mira, estamos en la calle San Pedro y el correo está en la calle Santa Rosa, enfrente del restaurante cubano. So basically, we have them saying enfrente del, in front of the, because de plus el becomes del. That's why it's enfrente del. So make sure that you review that rhyme that I did with you when I just showed you how to do it. Just practice that, look at it, do it before class. And also, you want to watch this video that's here, this YouTube video of the person doing the rhyme. It just is another version of what I just did. So in class, we want to be able to do that on Tuesday. In your ebook, you can see some of the prepositions here. You have a la derecha de, a la izquierda de, al lado de, cerca de, debajo de, dentro de. That's one that's not in the rhyme, but that's inside, like dentro de la casa, inside the house. Detrás de, in, encima de, on top of, like encima del pupitre, for example. But de becomes del when you say de el pupitre, in top of the desk, so it'd be encima del pupitre. Enfrente de la casa. When you have de la, it's no problem. It's more when it's del, de plus el. Entre, between, fuera de, outside. So you would say like fuera de la casa, outside of the house. And lejos de is far from. So here we have a map of a town, and we just want to talk a little bit about where locations are. So if I wanted to ask you, well, first let's make sure that we know estar in all of its forms. So if you wanted to say I am, it's going to be estoy. So make sure you have these in your notes. You are, estás. And so for está, it's either it or he. So if you're like saying donde está la casa, that would be it is, or he or she is. Again, locations or conditions, like ella está bien, she's good, or la casa está lejos del parque, the house is far from the park. We have estamos, we are, estáis, y'all are from Spain, and then están, like ellos están, they are. So now we want to just answer a few questions about places around town. So if we asked, ¿Dónde está el correo? We're asking, where is the post office? So in this case, we could say something. We could use the word entre, which is between. So the correo is here, and we know that it's between the Teatro Municipal and the Banco Central. So how would you say the post office is between the Banco Central and the Teatro Principal? You would say está entre el Teatro Municipal y el Banco Central. And what if we wanted to say, ¿Dónde está el mercado? Where is the market? And say that we wanted to say that the market was to the right of the Escuela Primaria San Jose. So we know that's a la derecha de, to the right of. So how would we say the market is to the right of the Escuela Primaria San Jose? We could say el mercado está a la derecha de la Escuela Primaria San Jose. So then if we wanted to say that the correo was, if we wanted to ask a question about the piscina municipal. So if we ask the question, ¿Dónde está la piscina municipal? And you wanted to say that it is in front of the correo. So that's enfrente de. How would we say the pool, the municipal pool is in front of the post office? There we could say la piscina municipal está enfrente de, but then because it's correo, el correo, it would be enfrente del correo because it's de plus el. So there's an example of how we're going to use del instead of de plus el. And then let's just do one more. Let's just say that the Iglesia de San Marcos is far from the mercado. So if I ask you, ¿Dónde está la Iglesia de San Marcos? And from the mercado, you want to say it's lejos de. So that's the lejos de. So we want to write a sentence now. We want to say that the mercado is lejos de la Iglesia de San Marcos. So there we would have said el mercado está, because that's location, lejos, and then the word, it's Iglesia de, because we have that de, la Iglesia de San Marcos. Okay, so this is just a little introduction to the preposiciones de lugar. You want to study these and use them in your mind tap a little bit too. Muchas gracias, estudiantes. Nos vemos en clase el martes.